Good evening. Welcome to SAFC Fan TV, and it's a Thursday night, which means Thursday Night Live. Woo! And with us tonight, we have CONRAD Lee. Give us a wave. The Mad Mistake is with us. Give us a wave. Whoa, can't have all that on. There you go. Michael, give us a wave.
I'll give you a thumbs up instead.
You do that. And Jacob, Dan Seth. Give us a wave, Jacob. Good man. All right. We are with you tonight to talk all things Sunderland. We are live, which means you can join us on the live chat and have your say, and we will try our best to include you in that. All the regulars on there, Red and White podcast, which is Jack. Hello to you. Occasion. Cameron Jude is on. CONRAD Lee, whoever he is. Matthew Lead, the adopted Mackham, all on there, and Thane SAFC, and we was going to start with Thane anyway, because in the week Thane did a video on his channel requesting some more subscribers for us, and we are eternally thankful to you for that. It was a fantastic gesture what you did, and we all appreciate that, and a massive round of applause for Thane for doing that.
Did it as well, by the way. Adopted Mackham did it as well.
And the adopted, well, thank you, the adopted Mackham as well. So, and these guys have got YouTube channels. So if you get there, subscribe to them. It's all great content. It's Sunderland related. Get yourself on there and do that. But what a fantastic gesture. We do really appreciate you doing that. Tuesday night, the start of our 5 in a row, which I was bleating on about. Sunderland 1, Plymouth 2. Not very happy days. I think we'll start off the top with CONRAD. What did you think?
Well, I'm hoping your 5 in a row doesn't turn out to be losses instead of wins now.
Well, it won't be because we've already beaten Wimbledon. So there you go. That was part of the 5.
I thought it was the 5 after.
No, behave yourself.
It was just bad, wasn't it? On there, just one of those things that I think performance-wise probably played exactly the same against Wimbledon, but it was that usual thing of a team comes up here and wants to get a goal, and then I don't want to say defend for their lives, because I think they gave as good as we did on there. It was pretty even, but just silly mistakes, and again, just not being able to break teams down at home just costs us again. And it just happens every single time we play at home at the moment.
Right, okay. I mean, we're gonna move on later to our home record. Which is, I mean, you mentioned there anyway. You know, at home we seem to be struggling. Quickly back to the live chat. Thin says, "Don't forget Storm." Lauren Kenny says, "Evening lads, where's Storm, CONRAD?" There's a lot of requests for CONRAD's cat, but no one yet has mentioned where's Dino. And Dino is
Jacob's gone. I'll leave again. No, we're not doing that again.
Yeah, when he comes back. Yeah. Dino's running a bit late, but he is going to join us very soon. Mad Mistake, Sunderland 1, Plymouth 2. Tell me what you think.
I was kind of half expecting it, to be honest. I mean, Plymouth's pitch is shocking. They're probably used to the bad conditions. They've probably played on that, that awful conditions all this time. They've come up travelling 400 miles. They'll be up for the fight. I can imagine Sunderland players seeing that pitch and watching the rain coming down and the lovely warm, courts. Didn't really fancy getting stripped off and playing. And for me, that's what it felt like. It felt like Plymouth were up for the fight from the first minute of the whistle. And Sunderland players were still wanting to be tucked up in bed. They were soft. They just didn't want to get it stuck in. And Plymouth dominated the first 10 minutes. Plymouth deserved the lead. But, I mean, how many defenders do we have to have around the ball before we clear this ball? Twice they scored. Both times they almost walked it in the back of the net. Our defence is shocking. Absolutely shocking without someone holding the hands in the middle of the park. We had it with Cattermole. Cattermole did the same job when Jack Ross was here. He used to watch and look after the defenders, and it still happens now. We need Grant Ledbetter in front of the back four to hold their hands. Otherwise, there's no one there, to wipe the arses for them, because they're absolutely garbage. I mean, they all say, Bailey right this, Bailey right that. What did he actually do on Tuesday night? I mean, defending-wise, what did he do? Did he have a good match? I don't think he had a good match. Willis wasn't very good. McFadden was hopeless. and Sanderson, to send them back. Send them back for me. Why do we need him? Why do we need Sanderson?
All right, so
useless in defence. Useless in defence. We got beat 2-1. We got what we deserved. We saw it coming against Wimbledon, and everyone slated me and Dino off because we said it the way it was. We were useless. We might have won. We might have scored 3 goals. We got a goal in the first 5 minutes. A couple of goals later on. It's been happening all season. Like I said, I want Sunderland to succeed. I want Lee Johnson to turn this around. I never want to see Sunderland get beat, but it's been coming all season. We're in 9th place. We were in 8th place before the Plymouth match, and we're there for a reason, because we're just an average side. We'll win a game, we'll lose a game, we'll draw a game, then we'll go and win another game, then we'll go and lose another game. Mediocre. It's no good. Absolutely no good.
All right. All right. So, but you started, Dino's on his way, by the way. You started by saying you half expected it because the state of Plymouth's pitch is not very good, and then you saw our pitch. So you was, I thought you was implying that the pitch was the problem, but then you...
No, it's more or less the people that are probably just too... They couldn't be asked to go and get themselves dirty on a dirty, muddy pitch. I mean, when I used to do cross-country races, I used to love it because the track stars who had the speed on the track, lovely sunshine running around the track. When we went to the cross-country, I could plough through the mud, any conditions, get completely just batter through the mud. I wasn't even bothered about the carts in the mud, and they were tippy-toeing through it. I'd beat them all day long. We need some tough players on our side, some players that want to roll their sleeves up and get stuck in.
So you don't think the pitch then was the issue? Do you not think so? It wasn't the pitch that made us crap.
I just thought they were up for it more than us. I thought we were just sort of just didn't want to get dirty. Let's put it that way. The pitch just has something to do with it. Just have something to do with it. But for me, it's like cold weather. You know, it's too much rain. Them lads came up together on the bus together, travelled all the way up. Harmony, team ethics. And they got stuck in on Tuesday night from the very first whistle where we were pissing about the first 5-10 minutes. Just like, oh my God, it's too cold.
All right. So Sunderland lose because they didn't want to get dirty. All right, then. All right. Jacob, I noticed you brought the light in. Can you turn that light off again, please? You're scaring us. No, I'm only funning, man.
I was gonna say it'd be too dark if I turn this on. Sunderland
1, Plymouth 2. How did it look from down south, Jacob?
Down south, yeah. Oh dear. Listen, I don't want to blame the pitch at all. I think it's a shocking excuse. I think if any of the players want to blame the pitch as well, not good enough. To be honest, absolutely shocking if you're a football player for this football club and you want to blame the pitch on Tuesday night. My advice to you is go and watch some episodes of the big match from on ITV4 from the 70s. Go and look at some of the pictures then.
I was alive. I was alive then in the 70s.
Some of the pictures George Best played on. Go and look at some of them instead. I'll tell you what. But it sums up the Stuart Donald era. Oh, but we thought he's gone grey.
No. This is what my telly was like in the 70s. It was black and white. Woo!
David Coleman on Match of the Day.
There you go. Right, go on. Oh.
Yeah, just performance rubbish. To be honest, not enough quality in the team. McGeady had a shocker, missing that chance in the first half. Him having the cheek to look all stroppy when he got substituted. If he wants to carry on that attitude, be my guest, because it's not good enough. The old McGeady's creeping back in, and we can't afford to have unsettlement in the dressing room again like it was in the Phil Parkinson days. Stopping the cross for both goals, the crosses for both goals on Tuesday, awful. Callum McFadzean and Jordan Willis not tracking his runner. I do wish Willis all the best. It looks like he's going to be out injured for a while, done his knee, which is why he was taken off. But we're struggling right now, mate. We just can't seem to put in any effective performances when we play at home. And I'm worried going into Saturday. Not enough quality in the side. Shrewsbury, they're unbeaten for a while. They're going to be coming up to our place full of confidence. And our squad's just terrible from top to bottom. We're just an average League One team at the moment, mate. I'm sorry.
Right, on the chat very quickly, David Walker says spot on, Terry. He agrees with what you were saying. A couple of people have also said the bad pitch is the same for both sides. But yeah, I mean, it was just, yeah, we get that. There was somewhere I've lost myself on it. I'll go to Dino then. What we're doing, Dino, we're talking about Tuesday night's performance. Oh, that's what I was going to say, Jacob. You was on about McGeady coming off and him looking displeased when he was taken off and substituted. I thought he had every right to be displeased because I thought he was all right. I just thought he was our best player. But there you go. Dino, Sunderland 1, Plymouth 2.
Terrible, wasn't it? I mean, when we've done the match review, I got slated by a few people saying that I've got an IQ of a mag, but saying that I had a smirk on my face because we got beat. I'm sorry, like that's just unbelievable. That's just people talking nonsense. I want to be proven wrong. I want the team to win. I want the team to play well. But when I'm watching the Wimbledon game, and we scored 3 goals, but that result flattered me because we were awful that game. And then the Plymouth game was exactly the same. We played awful. And when we went 1-0 down, you've got to play good to get back into the game. Yeah, O'Brien, great goal. But what did we do? We concede straight after. What's the point in that? I mean, what's the point? I mean, people are blaming the pitch. I'm not being funny. The pitch is the pitch. Both teams have got to deal with it. And Plymouth dealt with it a lot better than us. Then passed the ball better than us. In the first half especially, I thought first half, them look comfortable. They were pressing well.
Yeah, I'm going to say though, Dino, you say people are blaming the pitch. I mean, Terry mentioned the pitch, and you said that they handle the pitch better than us. But Terry made a good point in the fact that their pitch at their home ground is not very good, so they're probably more used to playing on a pitch like that than what we are. So could there not be something in that?
No, there's nothing in it, man.
No.
There's not. I mean, even these the professionals, I know the professionals, but when they were kids, they would have played on pitches like that before. I mean, everyone's played on pitches like that. I've played on pitches like that. Probably Terry's played on pitches like that. You've played on pitches like that. It's one of them games. It's one of them things. I mean, the pitch is irrelevant in my opinion. At the end of the day, when it was 0-0. Then pressed us when we had the ball at the back. When them had the ball at the back, I didn't see us press them at all. They were comfortable. They looked comfortable at the back, passing the ball around. We didn't press them at all. Go on, Terry.
You don't think, Dean, that some players just don't fancy playing in shit conditions? Like the Plymouth, they probably, like I say, they've got good team ethics, good teamwork. They played in the shit conditions quite a bit. I think some of our players just didn't fancy it at all.
But the thing is, Terry, against Wimbledon, they didn't fancy. Against Wimbledon was exactly the same. It's been the same all season. Even when the conditions have been good, the team hasn't performed. Then they don't want to perform. I just don't think they're capable of a good performance at the minute because either confidence is low or they just don't. I'm not going to say they don't care. I just don't think they have confidence in the people around them to play football.
I would like to think that there's not one of our players in that team as the attitude of what you're saying, Terry, that they just don't want to go out and get dirty. Because as a professional footballer. Go on, sorry.
I just think some of them just don't give a shit.
Well, I hope that's not the case because, you know, I mean, as we all know, we would all give our right arms to be a professional footballer and play for Sunderland. Go on, Terry.
When Lee Johnson first took over, he said he wanted the high press. Where did you see any high press on Tuesday night? When did we actually, break a neck, break your guts to get there and get to somebody's faces? There was nobody at all chasing anybody down. For me, there was only McGeady who actually, I thought McGeady did all right. I know his final ball wasn't great. He had those nights and he just kicked the ball a bit long, a big ball greedy. But for me, at least he was trying. He was trying to get things into the box, trying to get things going. I know Diamond was the same on the other side. Yes, again, he does kick the ball too long. Sometimes he doesn't look up. But again, at least he was trying to get in the box, trying to make something happen. Some of the other players just don't care.
Yep, I agree. Right, Michael then, Sunderland 1, Plymouth 2, and it was gutting, but what did you think?
I I'm kind of in the same boat as Terry, where he said he was expecting the result because it's a typical Sunderland thing to go. Like, again, Plymouth hadn't won away from home all season. Don't bother to try and take advantage of that, lads. Just go and give them their first away win. It's all right. It was exactly the same with the MK Dons game, which if anything, that was worse because we took the lead in that game and chucked away 3 points. They hadn't won away for over a year. I think it was just complacency, and I think that with the others, I don't think the pitch can be deemed as an excuse. If you want to talk about the pitch, rewind back to December 2018. Do you remember that game at Accrington we played that got abandoned after about 70 minutes? The pitch there was 10 times worse than what the pitch, well, to me anyway, the pitch there was 10 times worse than what the pitch looked on Tuesday. And yet we didn't crumble there. We didn't concede 2 sloppy goals that we really should have stopped, or certainly at least I felt the second one was, they walked it in. And like Dino said, and I said it on the live stream, what was the point of getting level if you were just going to concede again straight afterwards? What's the point? And we go on about, these teams are something to hang on to, which again is why I say all the time, don't give teams something to hang on to. Don't do it. I know it's easier said than done, but don't give them something to hang on to because you're playing right into their hands by doing that. That's exactly what they want. And on Tuesday, Plymouth, great result for them. I'm sure they won't complain. And why should they complain? It's not their problem. But for me, it was just a lack of responsibility. It was a lack of application. It was a lack of anything from Sunderland. And all I want to touch on with the McGeady thing when he came off, actually, I'm with Phil on this. I felt that although I think it was McGeady being frustrated that the team wasn't performing, and he felt that he could try. And I think McGeady was one of our better players. Not saying best player, but one of our better ones. I think he had every right to be annoyed. And it shows to me that he wants to play. To be honest, with what Terry said, did some of them look as interested on Tuesday? It's debatable.
Right. Hang on, Dean. I'll bring in just now. Michael, you said you sort of, like Terry, you sort of half expected it, but none of us predicted. We all predicted a Sunderland.
Well, I'll rephrase that. I'll rephrase that. I wasn't surprised.
Yeah, right. Okay. Dino, you want in there?
I think it's a little bit harsh on what Michael says about the defence for the goals. I think their first goal was well worked. I mean, I don't like this thing where when we concede, it's our defence, but when we score, it's a great goal. But we don't say it's about their defending. It's always a great goal. Why can't it be them played well to get that goal? Why does it always have to be the defence was shit?
Do you think we did everything to stop both
Someone
goals?
always has to be at fault, is what you're saying.
Well, put it this way, right? The first goal, I can maybe understand that, but you have to admit the second one was absolutely atrocious.
The second
to let
one
him
was
out of there
atrocious.
when there was, the second one was awful.
Basically,
the second one was
sorry, go on.
The second one was awful, but their player dribbled past one of our players to knock it in. You could say
he
dribbled past 2 players. We trapped him in the corner and he let him out.
That's why I said I'm with you now on McFadzean. I think it was both goals. It was either you or CONRAD. I can't remember which one said it on Tuesday. Both goals came down his side.
I think both said it.
Aye.
McFadzean, I think it was McFadzean, especially for the second one. He just let whoever it was that scored just drift past him. Like, no, that's one
exactly.
of the as a fullback.
Rubbish.
Terry, you want in there?
I think I hear about certain goals is like on Tuesday night. How many players did that ball get past on the first goal before it went in the back of the net? How many defenders did that get past for us? That should have been cleared away at some point. Somebody should have put a boot in somewhere. And the second goal, they basically went through 2 players, like 1, 2, 2, through 2 players that were standing still. And there's Bailey Wright standing in front of the keeper. Why isn't he coming out to the player that's coming towards him? It's just basic defending to me. I just don't get it. Them goals are bad goals to give away. If you put a slide ball through and the man beats offside track and smashes in the top corner, nothing you can do about it. But these tap-ins around the goal, it goes past about 3 or 4 defenders, and 3 or 4 defenders just stand there picking their noses, doing nothing. That's what pisses me off.
Do you know what you call that, Terry? You call that League One defenders. That's what you call it.
Terrible defenders, exactly. Shocking. It's mediocre, mid-table shite. That's what it is.
Hang on, but yet at the start of the season, we kept 5 clean sheets in our first 6 games.
Flanagan was playing.
So, for me, I'm not going to buy that they're terrible defenders when they went on a run like that of keeping clean sheets.
Because we had 3 central defenders and Ledbetter in front of the 3 central defenders. So basically, it was Ledbetter was carrying them, and it was 3, not just 2, like people have alluded to, where Bailey Wright hasn't got the pace anymore. If you got 3 central defenders, you can afford one to be slow. But when you've only got 2, Two of them have got to be on fire, and they've got to be helped by obviously McFadden.
Well, okay, but then let's put it this way then. The first goal, Terry. The first goal, Jordan Willis was on the pitch, and you can't call him slow. And again, when we were keeping,
but he did just. If he's not slow, he still let him run past him, didn't he?
Yeah.
No, but that's a lack of application. Then, like again, at the start of the season, we were taking responsibility defensively. Where's that gone?
Right, he's injured, and he's a crop. He shouldn't even be playing. He needs to be rehabilitated a lot longer than he is being doing. He can't be getting injections and then come back for 3 or 4 matches and expect to be fit in them conditions on Tuesday night. Should he even be starting with a bad knee?
Right, Jacob, you're trying to get in there.
The first goal, like on a defensive point of view, was horrendous. Like Callum McFadden, how slow does he take to like turn his back? He just gets skinned way too easily, and like Jordan Willis not tracking his runner. And there were people. I had this debate about, was it McFadden saying I made him a scapegoat on Tuesday because I've got to give him praise, got to give him a decent amount of praise because he put in a decent cross for our equalising goal. What do you expect the left back to do when you're in that amount of room at the top end of the pitch? You're expected to put decent crosses in, but your main role as a fullback is defending. And Callum McFadden, for me, he can't do that at the moment. Like, he just gets caught out of position. I mean, even the second one, like him tracking back, like running towards that player who eventually put it in the top corner, he was running like he had a parachute on his back. Like, what is going on? And it came from their throwing. Like, shocking, honestly.
Right. Just very quickly on the chat. This for you, Dino. Joanne Punchin says, ignore the haters. That's echoed by Acacia Cameron Jude, which is right, Dino. It's just, everybody has different opinions, and just, but there's no need to be. Don't
get us wrong. I don't mind someone saying, I don't agree with it, but when you're calling us deluded and that I wanted the team to get beat just so I could be right. I mean, that's just. I mean, how am I?
Yeah. Right. Okay. It's just
Sunderland fan, man. You know what I mean?
It's just a bit of support for you on the from some of the viewers down there. So, Stu Shaw says, Philly, stop looking for excuses. We're just terrible. We were dreadful. I'm not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be devil's advocate and get everybody's point of view on this. We were absolutely shocking on Tuesday night. That's my view of it. I'm always positive. And I've always said top 2 is achievable. Now, I'm getting a bit more realistic. Terry, you're trying to get in there.
Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs, and it's no disrespect to the guy because he's played well throughout his career, but he's coming towards his twilight years of his career. But I'm surprised how much we need Grant Ledbetter as that holding midfielder. We need him there. We need him so much. I'm sure we'll have more clean sheets with him there than we will without him.
Right. Well, what I want to get onto is a big criticism we all had of Phil Parkinson was that he wouldn't make substitutions, or if he did it with 5 minutes to go and stuff like that. And so it was a breath of fresh air really with Lee Johnson coming in. He's not afraid to make changes, and he makes changes in enough time to make a difference. But I saw somewhere on social media this week where somebody pointed out, do we not make too many changes so that, you've got your team and instead of just tweaking it, we're taking, we can be taking 5 off and putting 5 on and it being too much. And I thought, to be honest, when I read it, I thought, there might be something in that. Conrad, would you agree?
I like the point of I still like the original thing of you don't really change a winning side, and I don't remember was anyone injured from Wimbledon to Plymouth? I don't think there was.
I don't think so.
So I wouldn't have changed the winning team just because it's just that sort of sense of what's the word?
Consistent.
Yeah, I'll go with consistency. It's not the one I wanted, but it does the same job. Just getting some consistency in the players on there, and just sort of getting them to be a bit more, like Terry says, like we don't look like a team, so a bit of unity between them to be like, right, lads, you've done well, you 11 out there, or you 14, however many came on the the Saturday, and this is your chance to sort of have another go at it and sort of see how you can improve on the last time. But especially if there's no injuries, I mean, I understand the COVID one when we had to make changes to the teams and what have you there, but you're just changing things just for the sake of it now.
Thing is, though, look at all the stick. Even though we won 3-0 down at Wimbledon, look at the stick they got saying how horrible it was and they were terrible and what have you. So, you know, was there something in that? Did Lee Johnson see a 3-0 win and think that was great? However, the team overall were not good enough, and is that why he then made changes? Who knows? Jacob?
Yeah, this debate was raised with me on a comment on one of the match day previews that I put out. I think it's because we're having a consistent run of playing Saturday, Tuesday. I think Lee Johnson right now has no choice but to change things in our start. I mean, we're starting to get a lot of injuries in our squad at the moment, and I think if he was to consistently play the same starting 11, even though that I agree with Conrad's point, you don't change a winning team right now, especially with the fixture schedule this season. It doesn't surprise me if he is going to make changes going into a game, even when you don't really expect him to, because we need players to be like fully refreshed and fit going into games. And with the mad mistake, was it Grant Ledbetter? The fact that we're relying on a 35-year-old to come back into our central midfield because no one else who's younger can do a decent job in that area just sums up the club at the moment. Even though I absolutely love Grant Ledbetter, you can't rely on someone at 35 years of age to have a consistent run of games Saturday, Tuesday in this league, especially this season. And I think, I fully back Lee Johnson changing things at the moment. I mean, he has every right to on Saturday, considering how poor the team were on Tuesday.
Right. Well, I think this. I'm assuming that meant when he's making substitutions in a game, not so much the team he's starting with one week and then changing it the next week. I think it was referring to how many substitutions he was bringing on and changing the team instead of tweaking it, just changing it with like 5 substitutions. Terry?
Yeah, I think his substitutions have been canny up so far. I mean, Tuesday night was just a one-off match. I think the team just didn't perform. The team that came out of there just didn't want it. They didn't want it as much as Plymouth. And I think probably Lee was frustrated at how the team didn't perform, that he had to try something because they weren't going to win. Now, for me, Lee Johnson's he's been unlucky with the start of his managerial head coach career at Sunderland, because for me, unlike Phil Parkinson and what Jack Ross has had, he's had 2 key players missing. As much as you might not like Denby Hume, and we all love Luke O'Nien, he's never had these 2 players in the side. Now, these 2 players for me are key in a Sunderland side. McFadden is nowhere near as good as Denby Hume, as far as I'm concerned, and Luke O'Nien gets straight into the side regardless. I fit Luke O'Nien's the first player on the team sheet. So he's had to deal with this straight away. So as soon as we can get those 2 players back, fitting and firing all cylinders, and I would put Luke O'Nien in the centre of midfield in front of Grant Ledbetter with a 3 in the centre of midfield. And I have Grant Ledbetter. I'd probably give Winchester and Luke O'Nien together, because we can't play Gooch because Gooch has COVID. Because we've got to do something different, because this midfield isn't good enough.
Right. Jacob, you're trying to get in, then we'll go to you, Dino.
Yeah, with Luke O'Nien, it's a weird one. I mean, I still believe that he should have had some minutes on the pitch on Tuesday, because we need to get his fitness up ASAP, because he's such a key member of that squad. He's the only decent player that we have that can pass the ball like on a consistent basis and also keep the ball and provide creativity to the forward line throughout the 90 minutes. Like, Luke O'Nien is just such a vital player and shows great passion and leadership as well. And this is people are saying that he didn't play because he wasn't fit. Well, if he's not fit, why was he in the squad for the last 2 games? I can't get my head around it. Or was he just come back from COVID? I don't know.
Dino, quickly.
I'm not having this about the substitutions. Does it knock the team up? No, of course it doesn't. We whinged about Phil Parkinson not making substitutions. And now, what's better, someone who's been playing on that pitch for 60 minutes, who's knackered, or some fresh legs to freshen it up and to change something? Substitutions have to happen. If you didn't make substitutions, everyone would just be knackered. I'm not having this that you make substitutions and it knacks the team's shape up. I'm not having that. That's bollocks. 100% bollocks.
Well, I already get when you made the substitutions. What do you have to do? The team were never going to win.
Well, I'd be substituted after 5 minutes because I'd be knackered after that anyway, mate. Blowing out my arse, apparently. Right, well, Dino, so that's you don't go with this substitutions, too many changing the shape and all that.
No. I would rather have someone come on who's fresh and ready to go than someone who's been on that pitch for 60 minutes. Don't forget, it's boggy. It'll play on the legs. The legs will be heavy, and they might not even be fully fit. For me, substitutions is a must. It's as simple as that. And a substitution can change a game. Right,
Michael, your view on it?
I can understand maybe where this comment was getting from, in the sense that you don't want to change things around too much and can potentially confuse players. But at the same time, one of the big things, again, from Johnson to Parkinson was, again, like, if you rewind back to Parkinson's reign, if you look at that Doncaster game where we dropped 2 points at the very last kick of the game, and later on in the game, we were starting to get tired. We were getting pushed back, but Parkinson didn't recognise that and didn't change things until, well, I think he made like probably one change after 80 minutes. Whereas Johnson probably would have tried to be proactive and combat that. It's all about being proactive, and it's what I bang on about all the time. And substitutions as well can lead to changes in lineup, which for me sometimes have to happen. Because if a player's off form and they keep getting picked, what's that going to do? It's going to introduce complacency within them. Sean argues it about Max Power, which fair enough. As you know, as with Max Power, as much as the captain, just because you're captain doesn't mean you should be undroppable. It was the same. You could argue it was the same when Honeyman was there. It's the same thing I've argued when Charlie White was there last season, even though this season he's done all right. But last season, there were games where he constantly was doing nothing to the side and was constantly getting picked. And so it's about, sometimes for me, it's about keeping players on their toes, which I think is needed. It's all about setting high standards and trying to maintain high standards, because without that, you've got no hope of doing anything, in my opinion.
All right. This formation of 4-2-2-2. And again, I know there was a bit of confusion on Tuesday night as to what formation we did play. Thim brings it up on the chat saying Diamond doesn't work. That's Neil Diamond he's on about in the 4-2-2-2. If that's the because he says he can't really do that much central. Is it the 4-2-2-2 formation we are playing, and what do you think of it, Terry?
I personally just don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I think he's trying to overcomplicate the team. I think the players aren't that intelligent enough to play different systems. Sorry, I'll rephrase that. They're not clever enough in the football and ways to be able to do the wing back systems and then do this. For me, I was talking to a lad who was in Portsmouth, and he said Kenny Jackett was doing something strange at the start of the season. I forget what he said it was, but then he said bollocks, and he started playing 4-4-2, and they haven't looked back since. They haven't looked back since. These players just want, for me, just make it as simple as possible for these players that they make it 4-3-3, 4-4-2, and just leave it at that. Just leave it at that. The wing back systems and all these 4-2-2-2-2s. By the time it gets work, it's going to be too late. For me, it's going to make it as simple as possible, because these players aren't good enough for me to do different systems.
Michael, 4-2-2-2, do you get it? Or do you think it works, or what?
We're not try 2-2-2-2-2. Try that instead. For me, go on, Phil. Go on.
No, I'll go on. Carry on.
I think that when you've got, I think it depends on how well. I think a lot of it also depends on how well the coach can coach certain ideas into these players. And we do have to remember that this group of players has been Phil Parkinson for the good part of a year. And they will have been rigid and set in their ways. And how many games has Lee Johnson had in the league? Is it like Wigan, Lincoln, Wimbledon? He's probably had about half a dozen league games. So I'm going to presume, and by the way, for me, this isn't trying to make an excuse, but I think obviously it will take a while for the players to move away from what Phil Parkinson was doing with them, and then to try and move towards what Lee Johnson is trying to do. But yeah, I think that The only thing is, like, again, if you stick with, well, they put it this way, the Parkinson thing was, he stuck with the formation, rigidly stuck with it, and once we started to get figured out, he didn't do anything to try and change it. I think you could have like a main plan, main formation that you're at your preferred formation, but have backups as well for when you get figured out. I don't know. It's a strange one. 4-2-2-2 is something because most of our attacking play is out wide, isn't it? Most of it's like down the wings. So are we trying to encourage it down the middle? But then are we then neglecting or are we relying on our fullbacks to be the width of the team? I don't know.
Right, just very quickly, just over 130 people on at the moment. Can you just hit the thumbs up for us? Give us a like down there. Let's get some of those up. And don't forget, we're still looking for extra subscribers. If you could,
it's absolutely free, doesn't cost a penny.
Something like that.
5,000.
Jacob, 4-2-2-2. Do you get it? Does it work? Do you understand it?
Well, I was surprised that he played it on Tuesday because of the state of the middle of the pitch. Was absolutely shocking. I've always thought it was 4-4-2. To be honest, I didn't realise it was 4-2-2-2. Is it? Honest. Yeah.
See if we can't even get it. Like Terry says, how are the players supposed to get it? You know what I mean? It's a system I've never seen played before. It's new to me. I don't even know how it works. I'm just assuming that our fullbacks are used up as up as wingers as well.
If that's the case, you might as well play a 4-3-3, have an extra body in midfield because that position we're not good. Josh Scowen, horrendous at the moment.
Very keen on him starting, were you?
What's that?
You weren't very keen on the idea of Josh Scowen starting, were you?
No, which I was surprised. Like going back to the start of the season, I thought he'd be a key player for us as the season went along. And considering that Scowen worked with Johnson when he was Oldham manager, you would have thought he'd be putting in better performances than what he has been doing lately. He's got to be taken out of the team. Surely he needs it, like Chris Maguire has, because he's not been performing well.
No, I'd say this is it though, and I know, and he's got stick, and I must have seen a different game because I didn't think Scowen was that bad. I thought he had a lot of the ball, and all right, there's
Jacob agrees.
What game were you watching?
Well, I don't know. All I do is this happens to me. I'll watch a game and I'll say I thought he was all right, and people will say you're joking, aren't you? But for me, I don't think Scowen. I thought Scowen did a lot. I thought he had a lot of the ball. And, I think the more you have of the ball, the more chance you've got of making mistakes. So your mistakes are going to be higher than somebody who's been hiding and not getting the ball. I didn't think he was as bad and deserved the stick that he got. But again, that was just my opinion, All right.
Michael, back me up, please.
Put it this way, the one thing I'm in between the two, I think that with Scowen, given where he's come from and given that apparently, you put it this way, Barnsley fans were disappointed not to sign him again when they're in the Championship. I would have liked to have hoped to have seen a bit better from Scowen at this point. But at the same, one thing you can criticise him for, he cannot finish to save his life. He can't finish. Every time he has a shooting position, it's either a tame effort or it's one that's either missed the target or blazed over the bar.
It goes up into space.
Work on your finishing in training, son.
Right there, Terry, you want in?
I thought both midfielders were poor on Tuesday night. I thought Scowen was poor. I thought Winchester was poor. But Scowen can't do two basic things what a midfielder should do. Pass the ball and shoot. The two things he can't do, simple as. But I thought when Lee Johnson first came in, what he was trying to instill in the players was this quick passing, high press, get the ball in the box as quick as possible. When did we see that on Tuesday night? What happened to that?
Right, okay. We're back on the 4-2-2-2. We'll get Conrad and Dino's view on this, and then we'll move on to someone else. Conrad, 4-2-2-2, I think it is.
2.
It works great on FIFA for me. Like when you've got
it's like a dodgy sales call number.
Yeah, you've got your flat back four, you've got your two defensive midfielders, then you've got your two attacking midfielders, and you can either have them cut inside to sort of help go through the middle, or they can go on the outside as sort of wingers. So that's the McGeady and the Diamond. But then it just seemed it just doesn't work. It worked against Port Vale, and we, as Terry and Dino have elaborated, we sort of got away with it a bit more against Wimbledon. We didn't play well, but we won anyway. And it didn't work the other night. I don't know. I just want to. I've never seen it like this really, but I just want Mike Bassett 4-4 effing 2. That's all I want.
Yes, I love 4-4.
I want a right midfielder whose only job it is to swing the ball into one of the two in the middle. I want a left midfielder whose only job is to swing the ball into someone in the middle. I want the two midfielders up and down all day. I don't want one of them back here and the other one up there. They both need to be going up and down.
Yeah, Conrad.
Your full-backs overlapping and then your wingers drop back to cover for them. That's all I want. It's easy.
Conrad, I'm gonna twinge in me groin. Honestly, talking like that. Dino, 4-2-2-2.
I mean, if the players don't know how to play a 4-2-2-2, they're kind of be very good footballers. And I mean, it's not hard, is it? You got your two centres. You've got your two centre midfielders. You've got your two. You can call them wingers, or you can call them centre attacking midfielders. It's entirely up to you what you want to call them. And then you've got your two strikers. If them can't figure that how to work that, well, we're in loads of trouble if that's the case. I mean, let's be fair. McGeady always wants to do one thing and one thing only, is cut inside. But Diamond wants to do a bit of both. Sometimes he wants to come inside, sometimes he wants to go outside. Centre midfielders, Ledbetter doesn't want to go past the halfway line, where Scowen wants to run everywhere. So it's like they're not working as a unit, because really both of you should be getting forward, getting back, running around. Not one of you sitting, one of you running everywhere, leaving Ledbetter in the middle, and then he's getting overrun. So, I mean, it worked, like you say, it worked against Wimbledon because O'Brien squared it for Wyke. But with all the players we've got, I think 4-3-3 would be the formation to go. I think, anyway.
Right, okay. I've been worried for my sanity, actually, because everybody's sort of saying how bad Scowen is and stuff like that. But thank you to Stu Shaw, who says Scowen did well. His only negative is maybe shots on goal. So
the bloke kind of pass a ball. I mean,
right, okay, all right.
I heard somebody say that Dobson is a better passer than the ball than Scowen, and I'm thinking Dobson can't even pass a ball either. Dobson can't even get in the squad. I mean, we can't pass a ball. The full squad can't pass a ball.
There you go. Be fair. Right. Well, it's all opinions.
Luke 09 on a day.
Apart from Luke 09, yeah.
Right, okay. Right, you mentioned about Terry touched on Lee Johnson with this thing of wanting to instill into the players this high pressing game and stuff like that. I don't know if you saw, again, on social media, I saw, and I think it was a quote from Lee Johnson, because I didn't see any interviews after the game or anything. But Lee Johnson apparently has said that he's not happy with some of the players who haven't been doing their jobs. And if you're not prepared to buy into what he's here to do at this club, then you can basically do one. Now, again, if that's what was said in an interview or the likes of, that's what I read, and I thought, and I was chuffed to bits when I read that. I thought, this is exactly what we need. We need a manager who's coming in, who's got his own ideas, who he knows what he wants, and if players are not going to buy into that, then they're going to be shown the door. And I thought that was such a positive thing to hear. And again, it's that thing it's very early days for Lee Johnson. Do we like the sound of that? Terry, do you want to start us with that?
Well, yes, 100%, of course. Lee Johnson needs to put his foot down and sort the team out, because half the team don't want to play. Half the team are going to get a wage and go to bed in the night time. That's all they want to do. A lot of the players at Sunderland have no passion, have no pride. They don't really want. They're not interested. I don't think some of them. I know it's a hard thing to say, but are some of them even interested in getting promoted because they're going to lose the job? Because they're going to lose the job. Are some of them even interested? They want to sit in this league and get paid probably one of the biggest wages off Sunderland that they're going to get in this league because of the salary cap. So they're happy to. For me, I think some of them don't care about the club. I think Luke 09's a prime example of someone who does care about Sunderland Association Football Club. And we had the more Luke 09s. Luke 09, I can imagine Luke 09 listening to every single word Lee Johnson says and taking it on board, because he's an intelligent lad and he wants to grow as a player, and I think he wants to succeed. So for me, if players are not going to play for the manager, exactly right, they can do one.
Absolutely. I think Luke O'Nien is your prime example of what a footballer, a professional footballer should be now. The way he is with fans. You know, you've seen him take kids out of the crowd when was allowed to go and have a kick about with them. He's focused as a footballer. There's so many footballers now with prima donnas for what they're paid. And that lad is just a breath of fresh air when you see him. Everything about him is professional, and the way he handles it is just, you know, he's a credit to our club, definitely. Dino, Lee Johnson then, his way of a highway. Do you like the sound of that?
Well, yeah, like everyone wants to see high press and getting the ball into the box and that, but these players, I just don't think these players are capable of even doing it, because half of them can't string a pass together. Most of them just look like they're not bothered to go on track. So, I mean, when I was watching the game on Tuesday, I seen Plymouth pass around their box for fun. It looked like a training game at first in the first half. We were 1-0 down and we weren't even pressing them. Then we're 1-0 up and we're still pressing us. I mean, it's baffling sometimes. Like the team, it's more like a bunch of individuals, not a team. That's what it feels like. And I mean, I just think there's some serious investment needs to be in this club, and loads of people's contracts are up in the summer. And to be fair, like you say, I would only bring back 4 of them, if that. I mean, some of them are shocking.
I think there was a comment on one of our videos about Lee Johnson had said in his interview that some of the players didn't do their jobs, and you know, one of them didn't do the job, or somebody didn't even do the job twice, referring to McFadzean and apparently for the goals. CONRAD, Lee Johnson, you know, sort of getting tough. Is that what we want?
Yeah, exactly what we need. We don't want to be sort of dancing around the players who sort of have a bit of an attitude problem. But the only worry is, if you're a manager, you've got to be careful about who you get rid of and how you get rid of them, because all it takes is you get rid of the wrong person and the team then just, I'm not playing for you. And yes, he can get rid of them, but it's harder for a team to move off, say, I know they're all contracts coming to an end, but you got to think it's harder for a club to move on, say, 11 players who are a pain than one manager who isn't getting the best out of these players. I'm not saying he will be sacked, but that's the position that it eventually leads to if it starts to be, you know, a manager versus the players kind of situation.
All right, quickly, Dino.
Why do players need the manager to get them going? I don't get it. Like, a manager can only do so much for you.
Exactly.
You're the one you've got to be motivated to go on the pitch and put in 100%. Your manager can't do that for you. You've got to do that yourself.
Well,
and if someone needs a manager to get them up for a game, they shouldn't be professional footballers, in my opinion.
All I can say, I'll come to you in a sec, Dino. All I can say with that about a manager is going back to when I was at school, which again, when telly was like that, all in black and white, and we were playing a game of football against, and I think we were playing against St. Ian's or somebody like that. And our PE teacher, it was, all right, Terry, thank you very much.
I thought it was earlier.
And we were playing and we were getting beat 4-0 at half time, and our PE teacher was missing because he had something to do, right? And he turned up at half time and he was on the side of the pitch and he was like, and he was bawling and shouting at us, and we won 5-4, and we won because he turned up at half time and was there and was motivating us doing that. So you know, I do think I get what you're saying. As a professional footballer, you shouldn't need that. But you know, we're saying we've got a group of players. You can have the same group of players and a different manager can be rubbish for them, and another manager can come in and they can gel and he can get them to play well. So that's the importance of a manager, right, Dino?
No, because I believe if you even got Jurgen Klopp, you couldn't do that with these players. That's how I feel. I mean, you're saying that a PE teacher done that, but you're a kid. You're in school. These are adults, grown human beings. I mean,
and that same PE teacher has probably set you up, and you were 4-0 down. So it's the same bloke who then came back and shouted. Yeah.
To be fair, I was 28. I was a slow learner. I'll come to you in a sec, Terry, but Jacob's trying to get in. Jacob?
Yeah, it goes, but this takes me back to a comment that Roy Keane made when he's talking about how people giving him compliments about his performances on the pitch. Oh, you put in like a lot of fantastic heart and passion today, Roy. You were absolutely stunning. And then Roy Keane responds to this by saying, what do you expect me to do? Like, stuff like that insults me.
My job.
Like, yeah, exactly. You're meant to go out on a pitch and do that if it's a club that you absolutely, well, in his case, because he absolutely adores Man United, he would do that a little bit extra. But I think with footballers today, and particularly a club like ours, some of them I don't think they get it. I'm sorry.
All right. Terry?
It's going to be a little bit easier, I think, for Lee Johnson this time around because there's 20 players out of contract in the summer. So he can upset basically who he wants and then start afresh in the summer with Christian Speakman and getting players with the players that are there that have already taken on board what he's saying.
All right. Michael, Lee Johnson getting tough?
Yeah, I think it's exactly the right attitude you need to have. And I think the attitude of anyone who plays for this club should be, if you leave that pitch having given everything and you literally can't give any more, then you can at least get respected. There's a reason why Sunderland fans love Luke O'Nien. And yeah, he's not technically the best player we'll ever see for the club, ever by any stretch, but he's someone that will apply himself no matter what way you have, whatever you ask of him, he will want to do it. He'll want to go out on that pitch, give everything that he's got, and you can tell just by look at what he was on Sunderland Till I Die season 2. Out of everyone who said, when you look at Donald Meffin, who got the spotlight, the person that most people felt came off best was Luke O'Nien, and that's because he gets how privileged a position he's being, and he is embracing it. If any player dares think that they're doing us a favour by being here, and this was the big factor in the 2 relegations we had, if any player thinks that, get out the door and never be associated with that badge ever again.
Yeah, plays for the shirt. I totally agree. Jacob, Lee Johnson getting tough?
Yeah. I mean, he needs to be, but like Dino said, he can only do so little. It's like when the players cross that white line, it should be up to them to just give it that little bit extra and like really care for these supporters at the moment and like think about how much it affects them, and they're not doing it right now. I mean, when Chris Coleman, he came out with similar quotes when he was Sunderland manager and we ended up going down. Like, you would have thought Chris Coleman's motivational skills among that team would have kept us up that season. But going back to what Bowers said about Luke O'Nien, he does show heart and passion, but also I just think he's a very, very good player as well. Like, we're lucky to have Luke O'Nien, to be honest. He's such a great passer of the ball. Like, his energy on a pitch, he could run for days. Like, is he out of contract in the summer? I mean, I really pray that we can offer him a new deal. But if, say, like a championship club comes calling and gets him, they'll be lucky to have him. He's such a fantastic footballer, honestly.
Right, okay. This thing, though, of, of not seeing the manager of being somebody who's that important to urge the players on. Where does the quote "losing the dressing room" come from? If your manager's not that important, then why does it even matter when they say, "Oh, he's lost the dressing room"? Terry's wanting in, and then Michael. Terry,
I just want to ask you all a question. When you get a minute to answer it, right? Dean's saying about investment in the team. We haven't invested in the pitch. The pitch is appalling. I don't know what the hell went on Tuesday night. We didn't have the covers out. The pitch looks a mess. Lee Johnson's come out and said there needs big investment put on the pitch. I don't know what needs doing with the pitch, but we need big investment in the pitch. What's Donald doing? What's Donald playing at? Letting the pitch get in this state. If he'd given me a ring on the morning, I could have gotten 10 cleaners with some big brushes from work. We could have swept the water off the pitch a lot earlier than that.
Do we have covers because of the undersoil heating and stuff like that? I mean, I thought covers. I thought covers. Yeah, but we have a drainage system though, don't we? And wasn't covers just to stop the pitch from freezing? I don't know. I mean, somebody said, and I don't know if it was tongue in cheek, saying that the groundsman's still furloughed. Now,
well, has he laid them all off? We don't even know, do we? He probably laid them all off.
Who knows?
Who's cutting the grass? Just some random bloke from outside popping in, cutting the grass every now and again.
Percy Thrower.
The way the ground is at the moment, the pitch.
Right. Jacob, Michael was wanting in first. Let Michael in and then Jacob. Michael?
Well, two things. First of all, on Terry's point, I think this current regime is summed up when is it John Cook's son has defends his father, and the club and the owner, the regime basically, it seems like they treat him like dirt, and he goes off to Newcastle. That, if you want anything that sums up Stuart Donald and the Cuss Cotton mentality, that's it. Secondly, with regards to what we were going on earlier about players, when you look at it, if you look at it from players' own perspectives, and they, if they really want to be playing at this club to even on a financial level to get wages, play out of your damn skin to make sure you get another contract. And Lee Johnson's quote was spot on. He said, the best way for these players to get a bigger money contract and to get another contract is to get the club promoted. If that's not the mentality among the squad, they're at the wrong football club.
Right. We're fast running out of time here. So quickly, Jacob.
I don't know about the pitch. I think we've had problems with the pitch for a long time. I mean, it takes me back. Do you remember the Reading game that we were meant to have first game of the season? And that was called off because of the rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's something to do with, because the stadium, it used to have like concerts and stuff over the summer and like getting it ready for the first game. I don't know whether they made adjustments since then to improve it, but I don't think it's worked at all. I mean, around winter time, it always looks a state in games. I don't know what other people think.
Well, they can't use that excuse now because there's not really been any concerts, have they? So, I mean, who knows what's happening with the groundsman? I mean, he may be furloughed still.
Yes.
On this whole thing of where Lee Johnson's saying about getting so far, you can go out the door. There was, again, on social media, I read somewhere that should we not use Louis Dreyfus money to pay off everybody and just start all over again, start afresh, and just so when he comes in and start with a clean slate. But if that was the case, and again, I don't know, I'm asking you here, would the salary cap put us in a worse position? Because am I right to assume that players we already have are not
only on their new contracts will count towards it, but if we've got that many players not on contracts next season, then we're going to plummet our wage bill a bit on there. You imagine like McGeady's going, I think Charlie Wyke would have been bought for a fair bit because he was in the first season. Anyone we bought in the first season of League One would be on a canny bit more than what the League One average will be, and they'll be the ones that are the high earners now.
All right. So should anybody agree with that, to sort of get rid of everybody and start a clean sheet when the new owners come in, Jacob? Go on. Sorry, Conrad, go on.
Oh, well, Dino said it earlier on as well. Like at this point, you'd look at that team and you go, if Johnson needs to identify the one or two, maybe four that he wants to keep, and just go, right, the rest of you're playing for a chance to play for us again. And if you don't want to, then see you later in May. Go and find someone else who's going to pay you this much money, because we sure can't next year.
Right, go on, Jacob. Then I want to make it quick with everybody because we are running out of time.
Even if like the poison thing to do is, say, if this club gets promotion and then Lee Johnson will be thinking, I don't want to have unsettlement in the dressing room, I'm going to offer some of these players new contracts. Some of these players will get absolutely whooped playing in the Championship. Like, we need to rebuild for me and start again, no matter what division we're in next season.
I think we've got to get in the Championship before we start talking about the players we've got getting whooped in the Championship. I think if we go up the Championship, I think we need a completely new team. Simple as. Michael, very quickly, would you start with a clean sheet?
Well, put it this way, we can't afford to write off the rest of this season because we could really do with going up, irrespective of whether we think it's going to happen. For me, when you look at if say next season we're in League One still, we're probably going to go down the route of going for younger players in the lower leagues and trying to offer them lesser wages and build them up for two reasons. One, because of the salary cap, because their wages will, I think, if players under 21 don't count towards it anyway, their full wages or whatever it is. And two, because we've got to try and find a way of keeping ourselves sustainable. And the best way, unfortunately, the best way we're going to have to do that is to identify gems, build them up, sell them on for a big profit, and start all over again.
Terry, would you start with a clean sheet? Sell everybody?
The best, no. There you go, no.
I said keep it short, but I didn't mean that short.
Just get rid of the deadwood.
Right, okay. Dino?
With that.
get rid of the deadwood, but you need to change your transfer policy. You don't go for people with like Will Grigg who had big numbers. Don't go for people who were in the championship because it hasn't worked. You need to identify what we need: pace, strength, someone who can pass the ball, not just like, oh, he played in the championship, so we'll get him. He might be good. You need to identify targets now for next season.
Right. Okay. Right. We're just about out of time. So what I'll do, obviously Saturday, 3:00 kickoff. Sunderland at home to Shrewsbury Town. Can we have some predictions? We'll just go around that and then we can we'll wrap it up. Conrad, what do you think? 1-1.
Stole mine. That's what I was going to go for.
Little tiny Shrewsbury Town.
They beat Lincoln and Hull in the last 5 games. They've only won 4 out of 5. Yeah, I'm not backing anything from us in that. You built me up for the Plymouth game, and look at what happened. I was bloody pissed off on Tuesday night because I didn't win 5 in a row.
Kind of fist again, like
big massive.
I'm not having it. It's 1-1.
Big massive Sunderland against teeny weeny titty witchy.
Right, if we lose, you all know whose fault it was here.
Right, okay. Right, so you're saying 1-1. Dino?
1-1.
1-1 again. I love the confidence. One little slip up and you're all back to your normal shenanigans. Jacob?
1-0, mate. That's to you, think 1-1.
1-0
Shrewsbury.
Yeah, who do you think we are? 1-0 Sunderland, man.
1-0 for the lads.
That literally means nothing.
Michael Bowers.
See, I'm going to go one worse than Dino and Conrad. I think we'll get beat. I'm going to go 1-0 Shrewsbury because they've won at Hull and Lincoln. But if we don't win, it's not acceptable. Simple as that.
Mad mistake.
2 things. One little slip up. Is that the whole season? Second thing is, someone asked us on the chat here, why do I always predict a win when I say we play badly? It's because my head knows the score, but my heart overrules my head, and I will never predict us to get beat. My heart always says we're going to win because it's Sunderland until I die, unlike some of the flipping players.
Hang on, so if we played Man City right now, would you predict us to beat them?
1-0.
Hey,
we always used to do. We always used to beat City 1-0.
Yeah, but you have to keep De Bruyne.
He's round the goalkeeper. He's done it.
There you go.
Yeah, we only have to keep that quiet. It's all right.
Anyway, we've mad mistake. I still haven't got a prediction from you.
2-1 Sunderland.
Good lad. Right, and me, I think they'll get a kick up the arse without a doubt.
4-0.
So I'll say 2-1. I'm going with Terry. 2-1 Sunderland. So that's just about it, really. We will be back on Saturday with a live stream. Join the lads on the channel for that. Terry wants a plug because Terry will be doing one on
Football
friends. Friend, fucking friend.
I'm not going to get out of my
listen,
head. Thanks.
Terry will be doing a stream on his channel, but it's crap. So come and watch ours instead. So we'll be doing that, and we will be back on Sunday, where everybody be happy. Even Dino will be happy with Sunderland's 2-1 win over Shrewsbury Town, and we'll all be back on again, and we'll all love everybody. No doom and gloom. So that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, please like and subscribe if you was. We're still trying to get to 5,000. From myself, Philly, from Conrad Lee, from Jacob Kirkbride, down south, from Dino, who was a little bit late because he works for Amazon and doesn't deliver his parcels.
I'm doing overtime.
Right, okay. From Michael Bowers and the Mad Mistake. Stay safe, and we will see you all Saturday and Sunday, and we'll see you then. See you. Bye bye.
Hear me scum.